Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Andrew Biedenbender, the head football coach at Grand Haven. Andrew, how are you?
Doing great. Thanks again for having me.
No problem. So how has the off season been for you guys? And of course, coming into this week, I know a lot of teams do a lot of different things. So what's this week looking like at Grand Haven?
Yeah, so the offseason's been awesome. We've had great turnout from our players. Since I got here 3 years ago, our program has went from like 70 to 75 kids to now we're over 125 kids in our whole program. So the numbers are getting there. We actually had to order some more helmets, which is a good problem for a football coach to have. So kids have been working really hard. We've had great turnout this summer. And this week, I think normally we'd probably do a little bit more, but my wife's actually getting induced to labor tomorrow morning. So this week's a little bit different for me, but our coaches have done a great job kind of helping out as needed, but we'll be ready to go for Monday.
Absolutely. So, of course, congrats. I should say congrats to you and
Thank
your
you.
family
Thank you.
on
Yeah.
that. So, the upcoming, what's the outlook for Grand Haven for this upcoming season?
Yeah, I think every program's got their own kind of goals they're trying to get to, and I think our goal is to get back to that spot where we can make the playoffs, and that's a very difficult thing to do in the conference that we're in. But also at the same time, you get 4 or 5 wins, you're guaranteed to get in there. So that's obviously where we'd like to be as a staff, but our players also. That's kind of the thing. We haven't been since 2020 when everyone made it in, but 2019 was the last time they've made it in the normal way pre-COVID. So I think getting back to that area where we can be respected in those games and get to the playoffs, that'd be a big thing for us. I think last year we took another big step forward. Only 2 wins, but a lot of those games we had some close games against some really good teams. So really trying to work our way to be in that spot where we can compete and win some of those bigger games against some of the better competition in our conference, but also push ourselves to hopefully get to the playoffs and extend our season a little bit.
All right. So now let's talk about the players that you have on your team, some of the names to watch, and some of the returners that you have.
Yeah, so I think we're really excited about the team we have back. This is probably the biggest team I've had since I've been here. So big means depth, which is huge, especially in our conference. You're going against the Hudsonvilles and Rockfords, who have legit too deep of guys that would probably start anywhere else in the state. So we are probably in our best spot there, where we have multiple people who are not going to be true starters all the time, but can really help us out. But the thing we're excited about, we've got 4 of our starting offensive linemen coming back, and that's a big thing for me. I'm a former offensive lineman, so having big guys up front coming back is a big deal. Carson Hardy, he's one of the key leaders coming back. He'll be his 3rd year starting. He's be a left guard. He's got Grand Valley and Ferris offers. Big body kid. Louis Vargo, who played before at left tackle, is another 6'5", 285-pound kid. So we got some size there. Camden Meeker back at center. Then Jonah Bromer, who played tackle last year, a little bit undersized tackle, but this year has put on some good weight. He's going to be a big guy at right tackle. And then kind of a couple of juniors fighting for a spot for our right guard. But I think Colin Knittel is probably going to take that spot. Obviously, we have to see what happens when pads go on, but really excited about that group up front. And then behind him is Andrew Williamson, our all-state running back, who's coming back, going to be a junior this year. So we still get him for another 2 years. But he kind of came on the scene. We knew what we had in him when he came in as a freshman, but we kind of held him in reserve until it was time to unleash him. And last year, it was his coming out party. And he's really put in the work, and he's one of the fastest kids in the state, but also probably one of the stronger kids at his position. So excited to have him and kind of get our identity with moving the ball and pounding the ball. But we also have some really good athletes on the edge. Our quarterback, Easton Hintz, is also a good athlete, kind of different than what we've had the last couple of years. We got a guy who can move around a little bit and also use his legs. But we got some receivers on the edge. Amani Frierson, another name I think people are going to be excited to see. He's a 6'2", 180-pound kid. We had Will Krenster last year, who's at Grand Valley now. Reminds me a lot of him, but almost a little bit more smoother of a route runner. But he's a big body player out there. KB Krenster, Will's younger brother, who's another one of those track stars, one of our slot receivers. And then Callan Munford played for us last year. He can play some receiver. Samir Kanda is another junior. So we got options. So we're really excited about our offense and kind of where we're at year 3 in the system. Those kids really know what's going on.
Absolutely. So, I know you've talked about a lot of the kids, but now let's talk about the upcoming schedule for your team this year. Of course, starting off August 28th, home against Stevensville Lakeshore, September 5th at Traverse City West, September 12th, home against Rockford, September 19th, home against Jenison, September 26th at Holland West Ottawa, October 3rd at Caledonia. October 10th, home against Granville. October 17th, home against Hudsonville, and finishing out the regular season October 24th at East Kentwood. So a pretty good schedule, two good non-conference opponents, and we all know what the OK Red can do. And everyone, where everybody is good, and it's one of the toughest divisions in the entire state. So, what's the outlook on in terms of the schedule?
Yeah, I mean it's quality opponents. I think 6 out of our 9 teams made the playoffs last year. Jenison was 1 point away, I think, from getting in there as well. So we almost had 7 of our 9 teams were playoff teams. So obviously it's going to present a good challenge. Stevensville Lakeshore is a team that we beat last year. They're coming up to our place. I know they've got to replace quite a few players. So, but honestly, a solid program. So it's always going to be a good game. Traverse City West has Drew Esper, one of the better kids in the state, coming back. Played kind of everywhere for them. So we'll see if he's going to be, kind of those wildcat quarterback, running back, receiver. He's a weapon wherever he's at. But that'll be a fun game for us. That was kind of one of those games I think we left a lot of meat on the bone. We probably should have come out with a victory in that. So our kids are pretty hungry to go after that one. But we got to take it a week at a time, and then you hit the gauntlet of the OK Red conference schedule. But the cool thing about it, I think, the kids we've had in our program now, our juniors and seniors, all of them have had success on the JV or varsity level or freshman level against a lot of these teams. So that mindset of, hey, it's not just this, we've never even competed against that team. We've never had a good game against them. Now, I think 5 of our first 6 games, everyone in our program has won against those teams at some level at the freshman or JV. So I think that belief is going to start to be there, because that fear of, hey, I've never beat this team or I've never had a good game against these guys, that is kind of going away. So that's, for me, that's a thing that we can kind of lean back on. Hey, remember when you guys played against them? Or all these kids have now played at all these different spots. And so it's not the environment that's going to scare them a little bit. So obviously, again, still got to show up and play, but I think our kids feel more ready. And I think as a staff, we feel a lot better going into those games.
Absolutely. So, what are the next few weeks going to look like for you guys as we head into two-a-days and head into a lot of the things that really get the season going? How excited are you about that?
Yeah, I'm pumped. I think this time of year hits, and I think after 4th of July, as a football coach, you really start to kind of anticipate it. But this year more than ever, I think our kids and our staff are really excited to kind of get to the actual, practice part of it. I think in the last couple of years, you almost wish and hope you had more time to get ready. But I think this year more than ever, I think we feel like, hey, let's really get in this practice, get rolling on things. We're excited again. Our schedule, we're going to go afternoons, which some people get to go in the mornings, but because of some of our coaches, we got to go afternoons. But we're excited again to get going on August 11th and really just kind of fine tuning these things. Again, offensively, it's not a lot of new things we put in, have some wrinkles, but defensively, we've got a little bit of a new scheme to kind of fit our players, but just really fine tuning those things, but also kind of figuring out, again, I talked about the depth we have, where everyone fits and what true depth we have, and kind of where they place and where they piece in to different spots, because I think more than ever, we might not have 11 starters on defense. It might be, 17 or 18 guys who can rotate in. So really trying to figure out what everyone's little niche is, of maybe this guy's going to come in for a third down package, or this guy's really good at rushing the passer. So figuring out those little details about some of those kids, and also, seeing the development from JV to varsity. We saw, obviously there's strength in numbers in the offseason in the weight room, but we want to see how it's going to translate now to actual full contact. And we've got a great scrimmage. We're really going to get to showcase that. We get to go against Mona Shores, Lowell, and Orchard View. So some very physical teams that are going to kind of pound you. So it's kind of the idea is to prepare us for what we have ahead, because, Hudsonville's going to run right at you. Granville's going to run at you. So we have to be ready to kind of go against those teams. And I think, again, go against some solid talent is going to kind of lead us into the season here. I think we have a game in 22 days. So pretty excited about that.
Should be fun. All right. Well, Andrew, thank you so much for the time as always, and best of luck to you guys this season.
Thanks. Appreciate it. And go Bucks.